Hello, I'm Anthony David Hobbs, and this review concerns Wuzzles. Yes, the Wuzzles from the land of Wuzz, yeah. The cartoon was made by Disney, and I believe the toys were made by Hasbro, yeah. And they came out in the mid-1980s, and, I first saw the Wuzzles cartoon, I think I was almost 6. And yeah, quite enjoyed it and everything, asked for a Wuzzle for the next Christmas, yeah. And then almost 2 years, no, 2 years and a bit later, I was 8 years old, and they showed reruns of the Wuzzles cartoon, and I loved it. And I don't know why, it was better than I remembered it. I was a bit more appreciative now, and I was a bit more familiar with the characters. So yes, I knew what to expect that they do in the stories. Everything they do is true character, yeah. So in other words, I just like the Wuzzles more than I did first time round, yeah. And the Wuzzles, for those of you that don't know, are hybrid animals, yes. This is Tycoon, and as his name suggests, he is part raccoon. He's got a raccoon's tail there, raccoon eyes, and his body is that of a tiger. And this is Bumble Lion, who's part bee and part lion, yeah. So that's Bumble Lion there, yeah. And he has a pink mane, yes, they took some liberties of the colour of animals, yeah. And I thought, Tycoon, I found out when I was a little bit older that, yes, he's a business tycoon. He's incredibly rich. So, yes, his name is a play on words as well, yeah. And, now, Bumbleiron has wings. That sort of makes sense, yes, because he's part bee. And, oh, yes, he has the little W there, the Wuzzles logo there. But, Tycoon has wings. Now, not just him. A lot of the hybrid Wuzzle characters had wings, whether that was one of the animals they were a mixture of or not. Which doesn't really make a lot of sense. Why have wings that you can't fly, you know? They're just very weak wings, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's because the Wuzzles logo had wings on the W. Or maybe it was this. Here we have, there's a picture of the 6 main Wuzzles there. Butterbear had wings and could fly a few feet above the ground. But as far as I know, the other characters couldn't fly whether they had wings or not. But the bad guys, Croc, Flizzard and Brat, didn't have wings at all. So maybe the good guys had wings to make them more distinguishable from the villains. Maybe that's it, I don't know. Anyway, oh yes, and the bad guys, we've got a picture of the bad guys here. We have Croc, Flizzard and Brat there. Now, I remember as a kid thinking, why is he called Croc? He's supposed to be a mixture of 2 animals in one. That's the gimmick of the Wuzzles. So why is he just called Croc? Is he a crocodile? Well, it never clearly specifies in the cartoon. But in this book, he's called King Crocosaur. So he's part crocodile and part dinosaur, yeah. Brat is part dragon, part warthog. But his name doesn't have the word dragon or hog in it. So why is he just called Brat? Well, I suppose it's just because they'd run out of ideas for names. Or just Brat is a cool nickname because he is a small little brat who has temper tantrums, yeah. Now, King Crocosaur, or more commonly just called Croc, yeah, as you can see there, he has a crown. Now, in this book, he lives in a castle. He's King Crocosaur. Whereas in the cartoon, he wears what looks like a sea captain's hat, and he does not live in a castle. No, he lives in a rotting boathouse. So, yes, the book series and cartoon were not always 100% accurate with each other. But, in a way, it didn't matter. You know, close enough, yeah. Oh, and something else with this book series here. We've got a picture of 2 Wuzzles called Walrus and Piggy Pine. And there's a picture of, yeah, Piggy Pine and Walrus. Now, they made toys of them. They made toys of Piggy Pine, Walrus, Scowl and Koala Keat. They made cuddly toys of characters that were never in the cartoon, just in the book series. But they never made toys of the 3 main villains. Croc, Flizzard and Brat were in practically every episode of the cartoon. So that doesn't make sense. Why didn't they make toys of them? But there we are. And Wuzzles were made, really, to cash in on the success of Care Bears. I mean, the cartoon was totally different to the Care Bears cartoon, but the toy concept was the same. Cuddly toy versions and plastic versions of the same characters. But as far as I know, they never did a plastic version of Tycoon. And they never did cuddly versions nor plastic versions of the villain, so that's a shame. But they did do plastic versions and cuddly versions of the 6 lead characters there. They're the main ones. And when I was a kid, I thought that was such an intriguing idea, a mixture of two different animals. And I liked the cool names they had, like Ellaroo, part elephant, part kangaroo, Rhinoki, part rhino, part monkey, Hoppo, part rabbit and part hippo. So yes, it was a cool concept and a lot of fun. And here we have the houses. And yes, Rhinoki lives in a house that looks a bit like a banana. Bumbleline lives in a beehive. So yes, their homes had something to do with the character, yeah. And here we have, that's a map of the land of Wuz in general, yes. There is the land of Wuz located in the Pacific Ocean, yeah. Oh, and this audio, because yes, audio storybooks that came with a tape, these were popular in the 80s. Normally, when they did a audio tape storybook version of a film or TV show, they'd have different actors doing the voices. But no, not this one. It's the same actors from the cartoon that actually did this. And they didn't take samples of speech from the original soundtrack. No, they had to rehearse and do it again. This is a different version of that episode. So yes, that's dedication from the actors. Wuzzles was very well advertised, but sadly it was not as successful as Care Bears or Gummy Bears, which is a shame, yeah. Apparently British kids liked Wuzzles a lot better than the Americans did, so that's why they sold their stuff for about 2 years, whereas they didn't last that long in America, yeah. And what is it I like about the Wuzzles so much? Well, I suppose it's because the cartoon had lots of adventure, excitement, and lots of very funny jokes. So yes, there was something for everyone. So the Wuzzles perfectly captures the feel-good factor, yeah. And my favourite episode was Bumbleline and the Terrified Forest, because Bumbleline was my favourite character. That episode centred around Bumbleline. They'd have an episode centred around Ellaroo, an episode centred around Hoppopotamus, and they'd have episodes where all the Wuzzles in general would be in it. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Tycoon was only in one episode, the last ever episode of the show. And because it was like, hint, hint, we'll see more of him in Series 2. But sadly, they never did a Series 2, so that's a shame, yeah. Also, not just hybrid animals. Excuse me. The Wuzzles, they had everyday objects that were hybrids as well. Here we have a picture here. It's a tennis racket that's also a guitar. A baseball bat that's also a stopwatch, yeah. But not literally all objects were hybrids, yeah. Okay, I'll wrap this up by saying Wuzzles were made to cash in on the success of Care Bears, but I thought they were way better than Care Bears. That's just my opinion. Care Bears are cool, but a bit too cute for my taste sometimes, yeah. Care Bears have made a number of comebacks over the years, so why can't Wuzzles make a comeback? Well, I'm living in hope. One day, I feel the Wuzzles will be back with a vengeance, yeah. Okay, so from me and Bumbleline, thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Hobbs, and I'm never bored.